inshallah. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late today because I forgot the time was going to change, and so the prayer in the mosque time changed, and it was a little difficult to just run out to get to this class. So what I'm going to propose is that we make this class, instead of 1:30, we make it at 2 o'clock, inshallah. That'll give me enough time to get here. You remember where we left off last week?
We were... I'm trying to figure out which of these were our questions.
Okay, just tell me what you have and then I'll know.
So we talked about sort of like before, missing something before the last rak'ah.
Before the last rak'ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Missing a fard not from the last rak'ah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. So where we are right now, we're at missing a fard not from the last rak'ah, but losing the chance to go back because the ruku of the following rak'ah has been made. Okay? So, I'm going to make it talk slower. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذرياته وآل البيت كما صليت على إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Okay, and abad. So missing a fard not from the last rakat, not from the last rakat, but losing the chance to go back because the ruku of the following rakat has been made. So what this statement is meaning is that the cutoff point from being able to go back and fix a mistake that you've made in prayer by just fixing that thing and what comes after it is contingent on where do you remember the mistake. If you remember the mistake before you make the ruku of the following rakat, you can fix it. You fix it by just going back to where the mistake was a little bit before it, and like let's say if it's standing from ruku and you haven't made the ruku of the next rakat, you can, when you remember, you can just stand back into the ruku position, say Sami Allahu liman hamidah, so that would cover you standing from the ruku of the rakat that you're in, Then do everything that comes after it normally and make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. Okay. But this case is saying you can't do that.
Actually, sorry, can I ask a question about,
Okay.
to clarify? So if you miss something and then you go back and you do it and you do everything that's after. So if the something that you missed is not a fard, it's not a fard, but it's a sunnah, then, so I think I have written down that you do the Sujood Al-Sahw before salam.
First of all, you don't go back and replace the sunnahs.
That's what I thought.
If you got a fard that has to happen next. Like let's say you missed the recitation of the Quran and you've already moved on to the ruku. If you moved on to the ruku and you've missed the recitation of the Quran, the recitation of the Quran is what's called a sunnah mu'akkada. It's a major sunnah. Okay? The recitation of the Quran is not fard. It's a major sunnah. So if you miss it, you don't go back unless you haven't been for the ruku. Once you've been for the ruku, it's gone. In that case, you would make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. But for when you replace a fard, which means you have to go back to fix it, that's not considered as missing because you're going to fix it. What that is considered is adding, because there'll be things that you'll do before you go back to fix it. In that case, you're going to make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams because it's adding.
So right. So is there? So I have like two scenarios written down, but I think I might be missing something. So I have so if you miss, so if you miss and you end up adding, and if it's if the thing that you missed is
okay, that's good. That's right. That's right.
So you do it after salam.
No. If you miss an add, you make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. If you miss only, you make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. If you add only, you make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. So the only case in which you make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams is for adding.
It's for adding only.
Only.
Okay. So, but if you miss and if you add something, and the thing that you missed is fard, which is the only case in which you would miss and go back and do it, and so then then it's before salam.
No. Listen. Let's say that you miss a fard in the first rak'ah. And then, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Alright, alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's say you miss something in the first rak'ah. And then you remember, you're still in the first rak'ah. I'm not going to make it complicated. You're still in the first rak'ah. But you're in a different position. But the thing that you miss is fard. Means that you can't go forward once you remember. You have to fix the fard or you lose the ability to keep that prayer. So now you say, okay, what the fard was, you recognize it. You go back, you do that fard. Now, what you're being held accountable for are the things that you did before you remembered and went back. So all those things that you did before you remembered and went back, that's considered as adding.
Right.
It wouldn't have belonged in the prayer until you did the fard. You understand? For those things, you're making Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. So it's three things you got to remember. When you miss sunnah, can't be fard, because if you miss fard and you don't fix it, you lose the prayer. So if you miss sunnah, one major sunnah or two minor sunnahs or more, you're going to make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams for what you miss. Okay? If you miss an add in the same prayer, you will make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams.
Wait, so I think that's what I don't understand. What exactly constitutes if you miss an add before?
You need an example?
Yeah.
Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barakallahu. Okay.
Visit Skype.com for more help. Thank you for using the Skype call testing service. Goodbye.
Let's say in the first rakat, let's say in the second rakat, you stand up before you make a tashahhud. Right? When you stand up before making a tashahhud, you have missed a sunnah mu'akhada. You can't go back and fix it. That means that already you have missed something. In the next rakat,
oh, I see what you mean. So the ad is it's in a different rakat. Okay.
Yeah, or even if it's in the same one.
Okay, but it's a different incident.
It's a different incident.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You understand, Medina?
Yeah.
Okay. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barakallahu. So I don't have to spend a lot of time on that.
So is the rationale for this that I guess I'm just trying to understand why you would do this.
That's a basic understanding.
So something that you miss
Is bigger.
than something
that you add.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, in the most plainest terms, that's absolutely right.
Can you have 2 seconds to write that? Really quick?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I want you to really, because you have to concentrate. This, as I was teaching the brothers this morning, this thing requires diligence in understanding the formulas. But once you get it, it'll stay with you for the rest of your Islamic life. So it's inshallah. So it's necessary to really, at this stage, to do exactly as you ladies are doing, putting it down, memorizing it, and the next big thing is to put it into practice. Because what happens with this subject is, once you start learning, you'll realize, oh, I should have been doing this instead of that. And so you'll start now to be able to put things in their right place. You need me? So you couldn't get through to her?
She's on the phone.
Oh, well, there's a problem doing the Skype. You need more time to put it together. Okay, mashallah. Okay, so the ladies that's on the phone, if you have a question, just speak up, okay?
Inshallah. I can only hear you and can't hear everybody else's.
You can't hear the questions. Okay, I'm going to try to repeat the questions so that you can hear the questions too. Okay, inshallah. So Zay, this class is going to start at 2 o'clock my time, starting next time.
Okay.
Inshallah, because of the time change.
Okay.
Alright, inshallah. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala sayyidina Muhammad.
One more scenario. So if you miss two minor sunnahs,
Okay, if you miss 2 minor sunnahs,
that becomes a major sunnah, and you do it before. So
absolutely.
Okay.
If you miss 2 minor sunnahs, it becomes like missing a major sunnah. So you have to make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams for those. Now, 2 minor sunnahs. 1, the takbirs after the first one. When you say Allahu Akbar, after the first takbir in your prayer, all of those other ones are considered as minor sunnahs. Another minor sunnah is when you say Sami Allahu liman hamida, when you're raising from ruku. That is also considered as a minor sunnah. A major sunnah is the recitation of the Quran after Al-Fatiha in the first 2 rakats of a prayer. Another major sunnah is to say a tashahud when you're sitting on the last sitting. I think somebody's at the door. Maybe not. Maybe Cheyenne can hear that door. You should actually listen for it, inshallah. Okay, so that's the other sunnah mu'akkada or major sunnah is the recitation of a tashahud in the second rakat, the last sitting of the second rakat. Okay.
So
now,
if you miss multiple major sunnahs, is there anything different for that?
if you say if you miss the recitation of the Quran and then
Yeah.
you also miss the tashahud,
Yeah.
well, no, you would still make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. But the problem would be if you do that on some type of a continuous basis, then you're not making prayers. Your mind is not on your prayer, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may not accept your prayer. Because the prayer has to be, He won't accept anything that's not solely for Him. So if you're making prayer and you're not concentrating on the prayer and with enough niyat, enough intention to keep your prayer safe, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may leave your prayer to whatever else it is you're thinking about. You understand? So yes, you have to, you may be able to get away with that occasionally and still keep your prayer. But if it's like a habit, no. You got to find a way to fix that. Okay? That answers your question? So you understand her question, Zainab?
I understand. Can you repeat it?
Okay, the question was, if you miss multiple minor sunnahs, what is the situation in regards to your Sujood Al-Sahw?
Multiple meaning more than 2.
Multiple meaning more than 1. Because at least two minor sunnahs represent a major sunnah being lost. Okay? Is that too much air for you? Is that too much? Everybody's okay with that? It must be me. I'm not a.
Okay, so we'll leave that one open.
No, do it the other way around.
This one you're not getting any blowing.
But it feel like it to me. Just a little bit down. You don't have to close it all the way. No. You can leave it up a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Alhamdulillah. So I think you'll get air from this one.
Yeah, I'm good.
You feeling it? Okay, alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallam ala Muhammad. Okay. So you're doing good. Now, the main thing about this subject matter is the ruku of the next rakat takes away your ability just to fix the problem. If you make the ruku of the next rakat of a problem, like the fard that you have to fix, you make the ruku and you haven't fixed that fard, that means you have lost that rakat. You understand? You have lost that rakat. It means that rakat has to be replaced. At the end of your prayer, you're going to have to fix that rakat that you lost.
So that means you have to make so if I was making Zohar and I lost it's sort of like I lost one rakat in Zohar, before salams I'd have to make another rakat, so it's really like I made 5, although the 5th one is replacing the one that I lost.
Yeah, the one when you lose one, it's gone. You can't use that in any kind of equation. It's just gone. It has to be replaced. If you make it a prayer that has 4 rakats, and in one of those rakats you missed the fard, and you didn't fix the fard before the ruku of the next rakat, that means that rakat that you missed the fard in is gone. Don't even consider it again. Don't even think about it. You have lost that rakat. And because that prayer needs 4 rakats, you have to replace it. I'll listen.
So is the cutoff point going into ruku or like getting up from ruku? What if you're
standing from ruku.
Okay, so if you're in the position of ruku and then you remember, you can still go back and make it.
Okay,
As long as you don't
it's
stand
standing
up.
from ruku in general.
Okay.
But they have some special places where bending from ruku is enough. That's another subject. Okay, it's more technical. I have to wait till I'm doing that part of the subject. But in general, it's if you stand from ruku, not just bending. Okay? All right, now. If you have lost the opportunity to go back and correct the mistake made in the first rakat, that rakat, the first one, is canceled. And the second one that you're in becomes like the first. Okay? So, what we're talking about here is catching the problem after the ruku of the following rakat. Which means that you can't fix that rakat anymore. You have to do a new one. So, when you're going to do the new one, Islam says you don't start making the new one in the middle of your prayer. The second rakat that you've done has become now the first one. If you've done a third one, that became the second one. You got me? Wait. Now, after you've done that, you have to look at what you have gained and what you have lost. If you haven't done more than the second rakat, it's easier for you to fix this prayer. If you've only done the ruku of the second rakat and the problem was in the first rakat, no problem. The second one is going to become your first one. So if you remember after the ruku, but before the tashahhud, because the second one you had already done. You can't take it back. You did it. Now you got it. You're in beginning the third rakat, and you know the third rakat is going to be your second. So you're going to make a tashahhud in the second rakat like you normally would do. Then you're going to do the third rakat.
That becomes, yeah.
No, the third rakat is going to be itself.
Yeah.
Then you're going to do the fourth rakat, which has a tashahhud, because you have to end your prayer with a tashahhud. Now listen to you.
Oh, that was going to be my question.
That's why I told you to wait.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know that this happens all the time, but I do this subject. And people are anxious, but I'll cover it. Generally, I will cover it. Just give me a minute, okay? Okay. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala sayyidina Muhammad. Okay, so. If it was a second rakat that is lost because of a mistake, you cannot go back and correct it because it wasn't made with a rakat. The second, you cancel the third because Wait. In both cases, you have either added or subtracted something from the prayer. Okay, now.
You might go ahead and answer this later on, but so what is the cutoff for the last rakat? Is that just the salam?
Okay, the cutoff for the last rakat, yeah, I'm going to answer it anyway.
Yeah.
The cutoff for the last rakat, being able to just fix that problem only, is that after you give the salams, how much time before you remember? If you want to save your prayer and you haven't moved away from the spot where you prayed in, you haven't walked like out of the mosque or away from your area of prayer and started discussing things with other people, go back to work, or anything like that. If you're still in the same area, you act as if you didn't make salams. Fix what the problem was. Make salam. And Sujood Al-Sahw after salams for what you did before you remembered that you had made the mistake. You understand what I said? You look puzzled. Tell me.
No, I'm processing it.
One more?
So it's not just geographic, right? So for example, if you're still sitting in that spot, but if you start talking to your neighbors or something, does that constitute?
Yeah, it does, because once you have, okay, you're allowed to say salam alaikum to your neighbors and then remember and fix it. But if you're going to go after you give them salams after the prayer, and then you're going to go, yeah, we got to go over there and buy some falafels or something, then you're away from the prayer now. There's too much other stuff going on before you can fix just that problem. If it's a fault that you're talking about that has to be fixed, and you don't fix it until after you remember some little time has gone past, you have to fix the prayer itself. You can't just fix the problem. You understand what I say? Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala sayyidina Muhammad. So in this case, they give you a measure. They don't tell you half an hour or 15 minutes. They say, if you're still in the area of prayer and you haven't started to talk some other business or something like that, and you remember, you should sit back down. Or if it's a whole rakat you have to make, you start from sitting down, and then you stand up and say Allahu Akbar. As you're standing, you say Allahu Akbar, and you fix the mistake. Then you finish your prayer, and you make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. You understand? If you don't understand, it's better that you ask me, because I'll explain it, inshallah.
I want to go back to the first scenario.
Okay, your mother's asking for an explanation that maybe is going to couple what you're asking me, so let me see what she says first. Okay, go ahead.
I want to go back to your first scenario, whereas when you lose the rakat and you add the rakat, because let's say it was 4 rakats, I messed up in one of those rakats and I had to add the rakat. I wanted to clarify that I'm making Sujood Al-Sahw before salams because I added and subtracted.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's what I wanted to be. For me. That's what I needed clarity on.
Okay, but if it's only addition, see, you have to do your own math. I don't know what your problem with your prayer is. You know, you will know if you added something or if you didn't add something. You will know if you lost something or you didn't lose something. But the thing you lost cannot be a fard. The fard have to be repaired under all conditions. If you lose the fard, you lost the prayer.
But even when I repair the fard, let's say I'm repairing a fard.
And you missed the sunnah. You couldn't repair the sunnah. Then you consider yourself as having lost something. If you can repair the fard and not lose the sunnah, then you've only added something. Then you make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. So the formulas are there so that you yourself will be able to discern what you have done in your prayer, and then you'll know what you have to do to fix it. That's all this is about. Okay, now Zainab, what you asked me?
I was asking here what they said the first time. It's too complicated to go back.
Okay, all right.
Inshallah. See if the other sister's still
I
here.
have the notes, I have the book, so,
You should be following me, except that I'm not reading from the book now.
Zainab gets the book?
I
No.
understand, but I can fill in. If I need to know, I'll ask you again, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
These are Sheikh Amin's notes from
Wait a minute. This one, Sharon? Assalamu alaikum. Are you still on? No, nobody's there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm here, I just have no view.
She says yes. She said, okay, alhamdulillah. I thought you had lost the call.
No, sorry, I'm here, I just have no view.
Alhamdulillah, because sometimes this phone drops calls. So if it does, you can just call back, inshallah, because we won't be able to tell if it drops a call.
Okay.
All right, inshallah. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Okay, so Hala, what was you saying?
I was just saying.
She said Zainab gets the book.
Zainab is my oldest daughter. I've been teaching her this since she was like 6 years old or something.
Hi, Zainab.
She's doing this lesson just to remind herself, But yeah, she gets the book. She's like, she's far away, so. You get the book too, but you have to do you just have to do a certain amount of the lesson that I can say, okay, now you're ready to teach other people, and a part of that is I give you the book.
That makes sense. I was just. Sorry.
Because if I do it any other way, you will miss learning.
Yeah. And also, we won't take notes, and then
Exactly.
there's a value to writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And your book will be incorporated with your notes.
Right.
So you can
Got it,
explain
yeah.
from it. So look, many times people say to me, Sheikh Amin, I want to buy your book. I said, well, my book is not for sale because it's the opposite of what I stand for. People have to come out and learn. They can't just pick up a book and say, oh, I got it now. And, so my book is just as complicated as some other book without somebody to teach you. You see? So yeah, you have to, you have to put in the work, and then you earn your book, and then you become a teacher, and then you teach from the book. But you've already learned the lesson, so it's easier for you to explain because you have the book in front of you. But you guys are gonna do just fine. It's just a matter of putting in your work. That's all. All right? Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad. So let's say again, if it is fard, major or minor sunnah you have added, it makes no difference. If it's fard, a sunnah major or sunnah minor that you have added, it makes no difference. You're still going to make Sujood Al-Sahw. what you've added, you're going to make Sujood Al-Sahw. That's right. So it doesn't matter whether it's fard you've added, whether it's sunnah you've added, or small sunnah or big sunnah. It's just a matter of adding. So you're going to make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. I need y'all to talk back to me so I'll know that you're learning. If you added something and missed something, you make Sujood Al-Sahw
before salams.
Before salams, that's right. If you've missed something only, you make Sujood Al-Sahw
before salams.
Before salams. Now what happens if you miss a fard?
You still have to make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. Yeah, you have to fix the fard.
Absolutely. If you miss the fard, you have to repair the prayer by fixing the fard itself. If you don't fix the fard and go forward, you might as well just go sit down because you're not making the prayer. You've lost the ability to keep that prayer if you don't fix the fard. Okay? This is the main part of this subject. These 4 things I'm talking about now, you have to master this formula. Fards have to be fixed by doing the fards that you've missed. If you add something, you make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. If you omit something, leave something off, you make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. If you add something and miss something, you make Sujood Al-Sahw before salams. This is these 4 things in that formula never ever changes. So you're going to actually analyze when you make a mistake in your prayer. Exactly what did I do? Oh, I see. I did this. Then the formula says I have to do that. This is the whole reason that you're learning these lessons. And so you can fix the prayer.
And the cutoff for the fard would be the riku, coming out of the riku of the next salat.
Of the following rakat.
Other than that, I have the chance to go back and refix it, or then I have to add another rakat.
That's right. So what she says, Zay, she say, okay, so the cutoff point for being able to fix a ruku, for fixing something in a rakat, is the ruku of the next rakat. Everybody have to know that. If you miss something in your prayer that's fard, and you want to fix it, you can fix it as long as you haven't made the ruku of the following rakat. If you stand from the ruku of the following rakat, you can't just fix that problem of that previous rakat. You have to make a whole new one. At the end of your prayer is when we do that. I know you do.
So this might be an aside, but what about if having wudu is like a prerequisite, right? So what if you're in the prayer and you realize that you don't have wudu? Do you stop praying and then go make wudu?
Okay, that's a totally different question.
Okay.
All right, but it's not part of the subject, but I'll answer you. Zaina, what her question is, suppose you're in the prayer and you remember at that time that you didn't have wudu. How do you come out of your prayer? What do you do? Or do you keep praying, or what do you do? The answer is, you must stop praying. Because if you continue to pray without wudu, you're just making movements. It's not a prayer. You have to have wudu in order for your prayer to be a valid prayer. So, you don't have to say salam or nothing. You just turn around and walk out of the prayer by the intention in your mind that I got to go make wudu. You understand? Yes, you don't have to. It's no special action. In your mind, you shut down this prayer because you didn't have wudu. So you walk out and you go make wudu as expedient as possible, because it's possible that you can also catch this prayer with the imam, or if you're the imam, you have to catch the prayer with whoever became the imam once you left. So if you can't catch at least one whole rakat, then you have caught the prayer with the Jamaat. If you're a single person when you come back, you have to start from the beginning. You understand?
Yeah.
If you following Imam, when you come back, you start from wherever he is, but you have to add on at the end of your prayer whatever it is you have missed. Okay. You want to ask me anything? I'm saying, go ahead.
Yeah, no question. So, if you, sorry, I'm sorry. So, if you realize that you have missed the thing during the second rakat, and you realize that you have missed the ruku from the first rakat, then would you go back to make that ruku, and then do you still have to make the stuff that comes after that, and like the successor, like, do you just fix that the mistake you made, or do you fix that mistake and continue from that point?
Okay, in your case, missing a ruku is enough if you bend for the ruku of the next rakat, not to be able to go back and fix the ruku of the other rakat. You understand? Now, that means that you have lost that rakat, the first one. So, the second one you are in becomes that first one. And then you go from there and make up whatever it is that you have to make up in order for the prayer to have its proper amount of rakats. Okay, so look, in that case, when you bend for ruku of the second rakat and you haven't made ruku of the first rakat is canceled immediately. The second rakat that you're making now becomes the first one.
Okay, what if you haven't yet made the ruku from the second rakat?
Then you can just fix the ruku of the first one by the intention in your mind that I'm back in the first rakat again. So everything that you did before you remember is considered as adding to the prayer.
I see. So then let's say you go back to that first rakat.
Yeah, when I say go back, it doesn't mean physically you go anywhere. It's that in your mind you say, I remember I didn't make the ruku of the first rakat. So I haven't made the ruku of the second rakat. So now I'm going to make the ruku of the first rakat and act as if I didn't do anything else after that. So whatever else you did, it becomes adding. It's all done in your head like a calculation.
Right.
So when you remember, let's say you remember while you're standing to make Al-Fatiha of the second rakat. Okay? Now, you're going to make Al-Fatiha of the second rakat and you remember, I didn't make ruku of the first rakat. So what you do is, in your mind you say, oh, I'm back in the first rakat. I'm not in the second rakat. I'm in the first rakat and I'm going to make up the ruku that I didn't make. So you say a small part of the Quran, because that comes before the ruku. A small part of the Quran would come before the ruku. You would say that, then you say the takbir. Then you would make the ruku. Then you would say Sami Allahu liman hamidah, stand from ruku, make the takbir, do your sujoods, sitting in between. Then when you stand up, you're now going to do the second rakat.
Okay.
You got me?
Yeah, so basically you're saying you said a small part of the Quran, but do you have to make the Fatiha as well from that?
No, you don't have to make Al-Fatiha in this position, because right now it's not a matter of Al-Fatiha being missed, it's only a matter of the ruku being missed. So you don't have to make from Al-Fatiha, you have to make from what comes exactly before the ruku.
Okay.
You got me?
Yes, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Everybody's okay with what I'm saying?
Inshallah, me go back for a second?
Okay, go ahead.
You miss the wudu. You're praying in Jamaat. You make the rest of the prayer with the imam. You make salam with the imam and then stand up and you make the rakat you missed.
After you've gone and made a new wudu, after you've gone,
So going back to the question where you forgot you didn't make wudu.
right,
And you're praying with the imam.
right,
So you go make your wudu.
right,
You come back.
yes,
And if you catch a whole rakat with the imam and you made the whole prayer, so you continue to make the salams with the imam
No.
and then stand up and make the rakat you missed?
no.
No,
What
not
happens
salams.
is, when the imam makes the salams, he's releasing the people behind him so that they can now stand up and fix what they didn't have fixed while they were praying behind him. So for him and you, that salams that he's given is permission for you now to go forward and fix what you missed. But you don't make the salams.
You just stand up and make what you missed.
Exactly.
That's good.
Okay. Allahumma salli wa salam wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Now, this last one is missing a fard from the last rakat and remembering after salams. That was your question from earlier. Missing a fard from the last rakat and remembering after salams. The answer: if you miss a fard from the last rakat and you remember after salams, you must make a whole rakat with takbir. The takbir is traditional. So if you forget it, your prayer would not be canceled, but you will be punished for forgetting it. So what they mean? They mean that in this case, the takbir traditionally should in fact go before the rakat. But in this case, the takbir itself, missing it is not enough to lose the whole prayer. So if a person goes back, they've missed this thing in the first rakat, they want to keep their prayer, but they forget to say Allahu Akbar before they start to do it. Islam is saying, okay, it's kind of not good, but it's not enough to lose the prayer. Okay? That's all this is saying. It's a whole lot of words to say that. If you forget to say the takbir when you're going to fix that last rakat after salams, you could still say the prayer, but it's like a sin if you don't say the takbir. The prayer is not invalid though. That's the most important part. Okay? So as I told you, you should say the takbir starting from the sitting position until you stand. If you are standing when you remember, you should sit and say it, starting from the sitting position.
Okay.
So Zainab, you understood what I said?
Yes, when you make your salam, you're still sitting, and you say Allahu Akbar from the sitting position, and then if you have stood already, then you say Allahu Akbar from the standing position.
No.
No.
If you were standing already, you sit back down.
Back down.
And then you say it from the sitting position standing up. Allahu Akbar. Then you complete your prayer. And then you make Sujood Al-Sahw after salams. Okay, you're doing pretty good. Now, it says here, just as takbir precedes movements in salat from one position to the other, so does it precede these movements when going back to correct the mistake. And that is, in fact, the end of what is called the introduction
To Sujood Al-Sahw.
to the subject of Sujood Al-Sahw. This is the introduction to the subject of Sujood Al-Sahw. So how many weeks we did on this one?
This is our third week.
This is our third class on the introduction of Sujood Al-Sahw. So in the prayer books, this subject covers 2 sentences. The sentences say, whenever you make a mistake in your prayer, you make 2 prostrations at the end of your prayer. That's what it says in the prayer books. But those prayer books are not made for Islamic education. They're just like a supplement, to tell you something. But, for the people who don't have the ability to learn something, they just give you something that temporarily, until, you find out from somebody, hey, that's not the subject. You got to do this. You understand what I said? All right. So now you should tell your friends, listen, if you're following that stuff in the prayer book, then tell you just make 2 prostrations after the prayer for whatever the mistake is. That's not the way it goes, because this is the subject. And you start to explain it to them, and they'll realize, oh, I'm cheating myself. And they may come to class and start to learn this subject. Okay? When I teach these subjects, even Arabs who their whole life been making prayers realize, if they haven't been educated in some kind of way, oh, I got to learn how to make this better. And so most of the time in the mosque, I have a whole lot of people that's sitting there, many times very old people, because they had never really learned how to do it properly. So I tell them, to make them at ease, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He won't punish them, for before. But for now that they know, it's incumbent upon them to learn now that they know that they should learn a different way. Okay? And this is generally with everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He don't punish you for what you don't know or what you forget. See? But He does punish people who have the ability. He has made it easy for them by sending teachers or schools or something like that, and they don't even try to do it, then they will be responsible when they meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their actions. Okay? As all of us. Now, I'm going to stop here on this subject, because I'm going to start anew. The next week will be the definitions that go with this subject, that you have to memorize those as well. Okay? So it's not good. These subjects that's like mathematics, they don't like us to give the formulas and the calculations too much at one time. They like the students to be able to digest what they have learned to this point, and then work on it until the next lesson. By the time the next lesson comes, this stuff you guys should be pretty much knowledgeable about, and have it set in a place in your mind where you could go forward with some other information and it won't be conflicting. Inshallah. Now, if you want to ask me something else.
I actually have to leave.
Did you bring your bike?
No, I didn't.
Did my wife tell you, if you bring your bike, bring it upstairs?
Oh,
Will it fit in the elevator?
probably, yeah. Should I?
Yeah.
I can leave it parked out. It's been okay.
Not in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
If
However,
they see you do
weather's
it too many
getting
times.
ready to change.
Oh, really?
It's,
Yeah. Okay.
you're going to have a lot more young people out.
Okay.
Why put yourself in that
Okay,
position
yeah,
if we could
that-
just put it right here
Yeah,
in the
just
hallway?
bring it upstairs. It's
Okay.
all right.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
You want to ask me anything?
I just have a question. It's nothing to do with the
No, that's why I'm stopping
All right.
here, so that if you
You
want to
wanna
ask
make
me
the door
something else.
so I can,
They don't want to hear the other questions?
Like, is it sin, like, if you don't want to get married, like, something, like, you've been married before, and then you're afraid to get married again? Is it sin if you just don't want to get married again?
Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barakallahu ala Muhammad. Zainab, her question is, what is the condition, a position of a person who has been married already before, and for whatever reasons, they're not married now, but they don't want to get married again? Is that some type of a sin? So I have to honestly tell you that Islam says, well, no. If you, in fact, Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barakallahu ala Muhammad. If you have been married, and let's say you have a child or you have some children, and for whatever reasons, your husband is, or your wife is not with you anymore, generally this case would be women, men will get married again. But women, a lot of times, their nature is, they've had enough. Maybe that one guy was like, enough for them, and they don't really need the necessity of having another guy in their life. They may not want it. Like the wives of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were forbidden to marry anybody else. So, from that time on, they never, once he died, that was it for them with men. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala Muhammad. So, because of these things, Islam doesn't make the woman a sinner if she don't want to get married again. Unless, she's doing things that, she could only do with a husband. If she's doing any kind of things like that, then of course, she's doing haram, and her recourse would have been, I should have gotten married again if I'm going to do this. You understand me? But if she could live piously and not have a man in her life, she has other things that she's devoted to, and that whatever, she's allowed. It's not a sin. But generally, it's better if you have somebody in your life if he's a good guy, if he's a good man, if he goes out and he learns from the scholars, and he can come home and teach you what he learned, if he helps with the responsibilities of the raising of the children, if he can help with the finances in the home and these type of things, then you can kind of get to trust him again, put trust in your heart for a man, then alhamdulillah, it probably is better for you, but not necessary 100% by Islam. Islam not going to tell you if you don't do it, you're a bad person. No. See? And the reason that men usually will have to get married again is because their nature is different. They're created differently. So man is like, sometimes he already got a wife, and he just feel like he just have to have another one. He's out of control of his nature or something. Not all men are like that. Not all men are like that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one of the reasons that He created this position of polygamy is because He knows the disposition of men. That these guys are like, if they don't get married again, they may do bad stuff. They can't seem to control themselves or something. Of course, they're going to be punished for it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the nature of all of us.
So we might have trust issues with,
Absolutely.
trust issues. Especially if you have daughters.
Absolutely.
Older daughters.
Absolutely. You may have trust issues, especially if you have daughters, and why would I let another man in my house, especially if I have daughters? So yes, I agree with you 100% that this thing needs special thought, and you have to be real disciplined in this whole situation. So in history, Islamic history, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave us some ideas on what we should do about this type of problem. Because all women can't just stay alone, and then some of them may have daughters. So what it is that, Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala Muhammad, there's rules to this thing. That, the first rule is the man have to be a man of piety. It can't be any question that he is a person of piety who, he's an educated person. He knows he's in fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so, you have to examine his history. You have to examine him. Talk to other people and say, well, what kind of brother is he? Has he ever had any problem with ladies? Or, you understand me? And, until, you satisfy yourself. And, you have to, ask him a lot of questions and talk to him, but more talk to other people. Because he's going to tell you what he thinks you want to hear. And you talk to other people, they will tell you more about the real person, you see? But, you don't have to do it. But if you find the need, because, we all human. We like to have, a companion. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created men and women, so that we can help each other through this trial and tribulations of being here stuck on this planet until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove us. So, but like, let's say, when you get older, it's not quite as much of a necessity. See? But younger women, they unless they want to get themselves in trouble, it's probably better that they go on and get another husband, But if you're getting more than one, look, this is the problem. If you talk to a lady and you say, well, how many times have you been married? She tell you 4 times. Oh, no. That's a problem. It's something wrong. If she says, I had a husband, we didn't work out, and I was divorced from him, we have a child, and I'm thinking about getting married again. Oh, okay. That's okay. I understand that. But if she tells you that she got like 3 sets of children from 3 different fathers and you're not with none of them right now, that's a problem. All right? So I warn the Muslim brothers, something like a situation like that, it equates to that's a problem for you. So you have to really examine that in detail. Start asking them, well, what happened? What's going on, and how you get in that situation, and who's that guy, and who's his father, and who's her father, and until he could kind of make get an idea on whether he should or shouldn't. But from the beginning, just that information is kind of make you stand back and take another look, because something is missing. You see what I'm saying? Not necessarily always the sister. Maybe, she made some mistakes based on not knowing. But in general, you'd have to do a lot of research on that one. Okay, Sister Medina? That's enough?
That's enough.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
But wouldn't sort of the same theory apply if a brother's been married 4, 5, or 6 times?
For him, even more.
Because
Listen,
that
if you
shows
find
his
a brother,
character.
if you find a brother that he been married 4 times with 4 different ladies, and he's not with them now, I would tell the sister to run. I would tell her to run. You get ready to get into something that you're not going to be prepared for. Ideally, a woman, when she marry a man, she wants to marry a pious man who has fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I just gave this talk to the brothers in the mosque, that if you take a wife and you're not trying to be equitable and just and compassionate and know your responsibilities and try to do your responsibilities, and you marry them on a lie, especially because a lot of these brothers lie, and they just want to get with a lady, and they tell you all this stuff, and they promise you everything, and then when you marry them, they have sex with you, and then everything starts changing. They are oppressors.
Abusive. That seems like this is an abusive relationship.
Oppression.
Yeah, oppression. Yeah.
And abusive. That's right. But abuse in Islam, they don't call it just abuse, they call it oppression. So this oppression, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns that He is going to punish the oppressor, but He's only going to punish the oppressor by the hands of the person who was oppressed. So the oppressed person, let's say it's the wife, and he's cheated her and lied, and he's done all these things and made her life miserable, and he calls it in the name of Islam because Allah gave permission to have another wife, but he didn't follow the rules. He's just oppressive. See, he's going to have to give his good deeds to the person he oppressed. See, and when he runs out of good deeds, if he hasn't fulfilled to make it equal, then he's going to have to take her bad deeds until she says, okay, I feel satisfied now. And this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised, He's not going to interfere in trying to protect this guy. The oppressor is going to have to deal with the hands of the person he oppressed. They're going to have the position over him. You understand? He's going to step back until the oppressor gets what he deserves, and the oppressed feels satisfied that, okay, now you deal with him as you like, Allah. Okay? Is that enough? Zay, you want to ask me more? Sister, you want to ask me more? Okay. I think hers went out. اللهم إني أسألك بكل خير سألك منه محمد نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعوذ بك من كل شر استعاذك منه محمد نبيك صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم اغفر لنا ما قدمنا وما أخرنا وما أسررنا وما لنا وما أنت علم به من ربنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الماء والممات ومن فتنة القبر ومن فتنة مسيح الدجال ومن عذاب النار رسول المصير وصلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Okay, if she wants to ask me something else.